Oh yes, got some head shakes this time.
G'day crew. The goal this trip is basically the same as the last trip. Go out to Harry's and the fowl ground and see if I can get some snapper. The only difference is this time I know that I've got to get them past the sharks, if I can. The secondary goal is to drop some crab pots on the way out and see if I can find some crabs somewhere away from the share farmers that are currently active around the Cleveland area. The first order of business on the way to the marks that I wanted to fish was to see if I could pick up some live bait. As you can see on the sonar screen, the bait was down there. It certainly wasn't as plentiful as it was on my previous trip, but with what was down there, I should have been able to get some. But this turned out to be another day where the fish that were on the sounder were less than cooperative. I got a few, mainly in 1s and 2s, but it certainly wasn't as easy as on the last trip. Now, there were a few things I could have done to improve my success rate with the live bait, but I didn't have what I needed on board. So stay tuned, and next time I'm out on a slow day for live bait, I'll make sure I've got the gear on board that I need and show you how you can improve your take when the fish aren't cooperating very much. If you read the Fisheries website where they discuss the best ways to fish the artificial reefs, one of the key mentions is to be stealthy. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I think guys like this that tear through the artificial reef at full speed just don't know that they might be shutting down the fishing for those of us that are there. But I think it is also worth mentioning in my videos that if you're going to go through at full speed, please go around the edge of the artificial reef or slow down before you reach the boundary and travel through at a relatively slow speed.
Turtle just out there.
I've fished with quite a lot of blokes that hate to see turtles or dolphins where they're fishing. I'd say most of them were from a generation or two older than myself, a few from my generation and not many younger ones. Personally, I like to see them. Apart from the fact that I like them and I think they're kind of cute, they tell me that there's enough fish down there for it to be worth my time to put a line in and try to catch some. If there were no fish down there, they wouldn't be there. And even if they're only after the bait-sized fish, where there's bait fish, there's bigger fish. You think of those sea creatures as an extension to your electronics that helps you to target where the fish are. I could see bait on the sounder. It wasn't one big massive school, but smaller schools were going past fairly consistently. And one possibility is that the bait wasn't very hungry because it just wasn't taking my sabiki. The other possibility is what I was seeing on the sounder was schools of very small fish, think whitebait or something like that, which I wouldn't expect to catch on a sabiki.
What have we got? Nothing good, I think. Oh, it's gone anyway.
As I said, this was a slow day for picking up live bait on the sabiki. And since I hadn't managed to get much by this time, I only had one rod out and I had a butterfly yakka from the last trip on that. I was still debating what it might be on the end of the line when it bit me off. And mackerel will bite you off quick enough, but from the initial bite and the run it took, I think the odds are that that one was a shark.
Oh. What happened there? Bit north. Thought I was getting some head shakes there too.
We saw your video.
Ah,
They're pretty good.
oh, thank you.
You got any tips?
Live bait.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's, oh yeah.
Got a sabiki rig, drop it down, get some live bait.
Yeah, okay. Have you caught any today?
Got bitten off twice. I think the last one was a shark, not sure what the first one was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You have a good one. Okay, my bait's a bit hard to come by today, so what I'm doing is very carefully cutting towards my hand, which is something you never ever do. And just going down alongside the backbone and these leftover yakkers from the previous trip. Okay, just want to take that backbone out. That can go in the water for burley. Give the knife a wash before I put it away. Now there's that hard line at the back of the near the tail on the yakkers. Ooh. What I do is I put that back hook through that. So I pull that up just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit closer than that even. That's about where I want it. I'll keep that back hook exposed. Okay. It's a bit twisted there. I think I might need a little bit more line. Even a little bit more than that. That's better. Alright. Yes, take the backbone out. That exposes all the juice, the gut cavity. And no sinker on him. We'll see how we go. Better check this thing that was getting some bites. Well, we've got something tiny. Wow. Oh, what you can catch on a 7/0 hook, eh? How's he? Oh, he's got himself hooked through the. Oh, okay. What is he? He doesn't even make 20. He's 18 and a half. Okay, away you go, buddy. There's company for you at long last, boys. Whoa. Shit.
I was reasonably sure by now that this one was a shark, but since I'd hooked it on the rod with a 40-pound line, I decided to see if I could fight it to the bait. Now, even if it is a vermin species, sometimes I just enjoy fighting it to the bait. But it had other ideas. It's surprising just how much weight there is in a few hundred metres of 40-pound braid dragging through the water.
Oh, I still got on here. Well, it's just a line in the water.
The bend in the rod tip had me initially thinking that I still had a bit of my bait left and the hooks and rest of the gear as well. That wasn't the case.
Oh. It's just line in the water.
And just to be different, I put this leftover herring from the last trip on the paternoster rig without butterflying it.
Oh. What do we got here? Oh. Oh, Jesus, we hooked you in a funny spot, didn't we? I think you're undersized. So you're going to be lucky, fella. Jesus. How'd you do that? Probably going to leave you blind in one eye, old boy. Well, at least with pretty impaired vision. And you're only 28. So you're over the side again. I'm going to try, see if I can get this camera to work properly. Oh, hello, I think we're recording. So, here we go. Ooh. Oh, you're not too healthy. Come on, boy. You can make it. I don't think he's going to make it. Hook might have gone into his... Oh no, hang on. He just gave it a little kick. We might get him yet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yep, there he goes. He's going to do it. He's not healthy, but he's at least mobile again. He might make it.
I'll just give you another example of baiting a butterfly yakka. Put the top hook through the nose, the eye socket or the gill plate, depending on the size of the hook that you're using. The key thing is to make sure you have enough barb exposed to ensure a good hook set. The bottom hook goes in and back out through the thick skin at the tail.
Oh. Jesus. Something just bit the whole species off. Huh. Jungle.
I do keep a Lumo bead on my line to protect the top guide so that the swivel doesn't hit it. Maybe that had floated up along the line from the swivel and enticed a bite that way. Who knows? But I lost a sabiki rig and a 4-ounce sinker.
Another shark. Yeah.
I was still tossing up whether I wanted to try and fight this one in or not, because I thought it was another shark. Then it managed to bite through the line and decided the matter for me.
Huh. Oh, yeah, it's all happening. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bit north on all three. What the hell?
And that's 3 lines bit north, the sabiki and my 2 fishing lines, in less than 2.5 minutes. It's like all the sharks got together down there and said, let's gang up on this bloke and teach him a lesson, get rid of all his lines. I've put the displays from the time zero unit up in the corners of the screen. They're playing through at an accelerated rate. I don't normally have them scrolling so quickly. They're just on fast forward for the purposes of the video.
Oops, there we go.
I just wanted to point out the bait and the larger fish that can be seen on the electronics. Barracuda are slippery suckers.
Yeah, come on, look.
When I've caught them this size and a bit larger, I use them for crab bait. I did try eating one once, quite a long time ago, just to see what it was like, and I can tell you that the crabs are welcome to them. However, I've recently been told that they still make good live bait at this size, so I do intend to give them a try in the future. I'll also mention that I was getting individual hooks bitten off my sabiki rig. It certainly could have been the barracuda doing that, but it could also have been the undersized tailor that I've seen hanging around. I'm just putting a live bait on the line here, but you can see there's some small fish busting up just behind the bait. The fish that are busting up look to be about 2 or 3 inches long. That's 5 to 7.5 centimetres, if you're used to those measurements. I can't see any sign of the predators that are pushing them up though. I saw quite a few bust-ups like this during the day, and I threw a slug out into some of them, but didn't manage to hook anything. In fact, the splash of the slug falling amongst the bust-up, or just on the far edge of them, was enough to send them back down.
Good morning, Bar Crusher. This is Ray. Go ahead with your message.
A turtle just down there swimming under the bait.
Bar Crusher, great. I'll add that to the log if you can just inform us when you get when you pass the bar and you're back on the inside, please. Over. Thank you.
Whenever you're travelling around the bay, or anywhere else for that matter, it pays to keep an eye on your sounder. In this screenshot I'm just coming off a bank near Harry's and I can see some bait on the sounder. Whenever I see bait like this I mark the spot so that I can come back and check it for bait at some point in the future. Sometimes it may just be a fluke that you found some bait there. At other times the bait will only hold there on a particular tide or wind direction or time of day or something. You have to keep coming back and checking it for a few times to work that out, but finding the spot and marking it is the first step. The other thing that I find helps is keeping your tracks on your GPS until it's a real mess and you can hardly see anything under the tracks. But keep as many tracks as you can on your GPS so that you can travel on a different track each time you go somewhere. That way you're not scanning the same seabed every time. You'll find a lot more new spots if you do that.
Oh, for sake. It's 11 o'clock and a little bit of a twitch that the rod made a few minutes ago has left me bitten off again. And it was only a little bit of a twitch. I left it in for a minute thinking he might come back to get the bait, but he just bit it straight off and took it. Oh, Christ, what the... I got bitten off again here. Oh, big shark, that one. Oh, I'm a bit surprised he didn't take that. I thought he did have it. Oh yes, got some head shakes this time. Well, maybe not. Oh, there's that bloody shark again. That's what he is. Hey, mongrel. Now,
thinking about this after the event, the top hook was pulled down, and that takes quite a bit of effort with 3 of the beads on the shank. Secondly, I was sure I felt some head shakes when I first hooked up. And also, when I first picked up the rod, I was able to wind some line in against the struggles on the other end. Now that rod had 30-pound braid on it, and the drag was set to 10-pound, so that wasn't going to pull in a shark, not a big one anyway. Now from the fact that the top hook was pulled down onto the bottom one, I think something must have been hooked on that. Now, sharks have pretty tough mouths, so if the hook had gone into a shark's mouth, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have pulled back out again. Now what I think is possible is that I hooked a fish, and the shark took it, pulled some drag as it took it, and pulled the top hook out of the fish, in the process pulling it down to the bottom hook. It might not have happened that way, but that scenario fits with what I felt at the rod end.
you can see what I meant in the last video when I showed you how to do these hooks. You can't go down any further than that. So, even if you do hook him on the top one and miss the bottom hook, you're still going to be able to sink the hook in and haul him in, if it's not a shark and doesn't let go. Right, last bait for this round.
I make my rigs at home and put them in plastic bags to tie them on when I go out. It saves time out on the water. These press-sealed bags keep the moisture out, and the hooks are good for 12 months on the boat without showing any sign of rust. Now these are the bags that I used. With the exception of the one paternoster rig, all of the rest of these were snelled with 2 hooks. So if you count them, I lost 21 hooks. I also lost 2 sabiki rigs, a 4-ounce snapper lead, and a handful of number 2 ball sinkers on this trip. It's trips like this that really make me appreciate the Troll Pro hooks as well as their other tackle. I find the Troll Pro hooks are just as good as the big name brands and around half the price, which makes losing a few just that little bit more palatable. I also find their other tackle is quite reasonably priced for good quality gear. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch it. I can say there was no shortage of action on this trip. It just wasn't the sort of action that I was hoping for. I think I might have hooked up onto 1 decent fish, possibly 2, but one thing I'm certain of, and that is that this is the first time in my life that I've ever done 2 consecutive trips where the sharks have done better than I have. And I also think that we definitely have a shark problem and they need culling. A little while ago, Fisheries had a survey out to see if shark depredation was a problem. I don't know if it's still running or if it's finished yet, but I certainly filled it in, told them it was a problem. I hope everyone else did, and I hope they do something about it. Until next time, good fishing.